only on RTV6.
This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
That breaking news, a stunning development regarding Colts quarterback Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is retiring from the NFL before the season even begins. The news first broke as the Colts were playing the Bears in preseason action at Lucas Oil Stadium tonight. Earlier tonight, Colts and Andrew Luck have confirmed that news. Now we want to go live to Lucas Oil Stadium right now, where the Colts are still talking to the media.
Bigger than all of us sort of issue, and I would never try to talk someone out of something that their heart truly wasn't into, and so I was there to absolutely support him and counsel him. Big decisions you hold off on as long as you can. Hold off on them, and then when you have to make them, then you make them. And I know that he got great support from his wife, from his Uncle Will, from his dad and mom. And, this I know is not, obviously this doesn't happen. It's not a common day occurrence or common even, decade occurrence. It's unusual, but, it happens. And I think, Andrew was clear to say, and I want to be clear to say, it's a great game, and this is not an attack on the game at all. And he's an outstanding young man who is not selfish, but he simply knows that for him to get in the right frame of mind, and, it's a tough thing. Look at, he's leaving, $450, $500 million on the table potentially. I mean, $500 million. And he's saying, you know what, I want to have my integrity has to be real. I have to be able to look T.Y. in the eye, look my teammates, look Coach, look Chris in the eye and say, I am all in. And he just didn't feel at this point in time he could do that. And look at, I'd be a liar to say, he's only going to be 30 next year. I mean, if he has I talked to him about it. It's a transformative situation. It's a worm becoming a beautiful butterfly. It's big. He has to change and evolve from this as a young man. And I think that he's determined to do that. What that means in terms of his career as a football player remains to be unseen at this point.
Do you think he ever plays in the NFL again?
I don't rule it out because as quickly as this thing sort of descended on us and as mysterious as it was coming upon us, it could leave the same way. And that's just a fact. I mean, it's very hard to measure sometimes our human experience and how we all, perceive life from our chair. And so, I mean, I would say it's possible, but look we know, we have to get on and get ready to play and have a great football team. And we are focused on having a great season still, and we really believe we can. And so it's possible, but again, I think no one knows, and he'd be the first to tell you that no one knows, so only time will tell.
Chris, I'm hearing there first. Chris, in your role as GM, how do you deal with the human aspect of it initially? And then you've got to move on, you've got to make the move. I mean, you've got to move on.
Yeah.
Do you separate them, or do you have to have 24 hours of whatever?
No. Look, the human aspect, y'all know me. I mean, I connect. I do. It's probably, with all our players. I care about them. We don't always agree, but I care about our players. I want them to do good. I want them to do good when they leave our building, and that's it's hard. It's been a tough week. It has. And but saying that, yeah, we're moving forward. That's what we do. And I think I've talked about this a lot, but obstacles happen. They just do. And every time, and Lord knows they've happened a few times since I've been here, but I'll say this, every time we've faced one, we've overcome it. And that's what we'll do again. I mean, that's our jobs. That's what we do.
Chris, since the season ended, any regrets over how Andrew was handled by the way?
No. No.
Do you feel like when you went out there to work out last Saturday, there was still a chance he could play? Or...
Absolutely. Absolutely did. He played in the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Chris, can you tell how it was taking a toll on him emotionally these last couple of years going through the cycle?
A little bit, yeah. It was frustrating. You know what was frustrating? Because that, Kevin just asked, that question. It kind of ties with you. He was so excited at the end of the year. I'm going into the off season healthy, feeling good. I'm gonna get better. Man, our team's gonna get better. Here are the things I can do, and then it didn't play out that way.
You've come really close with him in the last since you took over. You've been there with him. These are dark times for him. In the back of your mind, do you ever think maybe he'll just get tired of this and walk away?
No.
He's human at some point.
I know, but no. He's the ultimate competitor, man. No, I never did. I just, I saw him as the shoulder was hard. Man, it was freaking hard, man. That was a hard year. But no, I didn't envision this.
Well, that's something I'm interested in because, you're seeing that competitor side of him. He's going and scratching and clawing to get back out there in 2017. And then, that juxtaposed against this, not a criticism of any decision here. I'm saying it's kind of interesting, right? I mean, when you compare those two aspects, this decision versus the guy, this competitor that you're talking about, would make sense of that?
I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I could. I think Mr. Irsay said it. I mean, we all got our own journeys. Andrew's got his journey. We'll support him. We're going to support him.
And he was the first to say that, November, December of this year was the greatest time he had in his life. I mean, it was the most fun that he's ever had in his life. And then somewhere along the way, this dark shadow emerged in the corridors of all of our hallways. And we don't like it. We don't like it. None of us like Andrew doesn't like it. And so I think it really comes down to him taking a step back and seeing, is there a way that he can gain a different perceptive point of view about, putting everything into context and that sort of thing. Because obviously these contradictions, it doesn't always add up. We can't, 1 and 1 doesn't equal 2 right now. And, everyone, including Andrew at the first of the list, is frustrated that it doesn't. But right now it doesn't, and that's what, he's going to go out and figure out for himself and his family.
A couple more physical toll that he went through early in his career. You name a body part that was beat up. Do you have any regret about the way that was handled then and the dominoes that fell that led us to here?
No, I mean, God, Peyton, I mean, seeing what that guy went through, I mean, we protect those guys. It's not touch football, obviously, but I mean, even when they roam out of the pocket, guys know if they even look like they're trying to, do any harm or damage, the flag's coming out. And so, I mean, the game has been led towards the most possible safe way to protect that position, because none of us are hiding around the fact that, hey, that quarterback position and getting high play out of that is a paramount for franchise success. But that's the reason that I know the three of us feel, I mean, we are ready to go to battle, and we have tremendous certainty that Jacoby is a guy that can change this narrative. I was there when Bledsoe got hurt and Brady came on the field. Who's a skinny guy from Michigan? I mean, you know, he was there with the Nick Foles thing. I mean, you know, I can see Dick Vermeil crying now, you know, and look what happened. I mean, it doesn't always happen, but man, I mean, that's the greatness of waking up and being this game. I mean, this is incredible stuff, and it affects all our lives. It has a symbolic effect on how we look at life and how we move through life, because, like, you know, both of these guys have said it. Andrew's a special guy. He really is. You know, uniquely talented. 7 billion people on the planet, maybe 5 or 6 can do what he can do. And so, you know, we're hoping that it's 7 and Jacoby's that guy. So I'll put it that way, man.
Okay, last one. You're going to be separate. We had your introductory press conference, January or February 2017. One of the things you stressed was it can't be about one guy. Andrew, is this sort of going to test your?
Absolutely, and we're excited. You know, I mean, teams win. Teams win. It's what makes this game great. Teams win. Don't write the end of the story yet. Don't write the end of the story yet. Story's just starting, man. It's not the end of the story yet. Everybody gonna write the end of the story, but I'm telling you, the story's not over yet.
Was there a specific event that stepped up for calf or ankle at the beginning?
Last year, or
just how did it get hurt? How did it start?
He had it dinged last year, some point during the season. I don't know exact date. I don't have stuff in front of me. But then at the end, it was cleared up. I mean, he played in the Pro Bowl, and then in Europe, he started complaining about a calf when he was over in Europe, and we checked it out. Then we got back, we were still treating the calf. Then we went to the ankle. It's kind of what I went through a week ago. I mean, everything we went through, when I went through from the calf, and then we got the calf better, then it was the other part of the kind of the higher ankle specialist, and we did it in May, we did it in August. It's kind of what I said the other day.
Frank, this past week, did you have a separate combo with Jacoby, and what was, if you did, what was that one-on-one interaction like?
No, we didn't, because of the integrity of, you know, not saying anything. You know,
you haven't said anything to him yet?
No, Andrew said something to Jacoby, I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And he told Jacoby yesterday. So Jacoby and I just had a brief conversation, because this is hard for Jacoby now, because these guys are close. And my only comment to Jacoby was, let's just take a couple days to digest this, and then we'll talk after the game. Because you know, Jacoby was pretty emotional about this as well. This is hard for him. They're very close.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Colts head coach Frank Reich, owner Jim Irsay, and GM Chris Ballard speaking to the media just now as we learn Andrew Luck is officially retiring from the NFL. We want to now get right over to RTV6 sports director Dave First as this news breaks tonight. Dave.
Absolutely stunning stuff, guys. And obviously you've already heard from Jim Irsay and general manager Chris Ballard as well. Who we haven't heard from in this newscast yet is Andrew Luck, as he finally made that decision to go to the podium and announce to the world that he would be calling it quits after 6 seasons with the Indianapolis Colts.
It certainly isn't how I envisioned this or planned this, but I am going to retire. This is not an easy decision. Honestly, it's the hardest decision of my life, but it is the right decision for me. For the last 4 years or so, I've been in this cycle of injury, pain, rehab, injury, pain, rehab, and it's been unceasing and unrelenting, both in season, and off season. And I felt stuck in it, and the only way I see out is to no longer play football. It's taken my joy of this game away, and this. Sorry. I've been stuck in this process. I haven't been able to live the life I want to live, taking the joy out of this game. And after 2016, where I played in pain and was unable to regularly practice, I made a vow to myself that I would not go down that path again. I find myself in a similar situation, and the only way forward for me is to remove myself from football in this cycle that I've been in. Come to the proverbial fork in the road. And I made a vow to myself that if I ever did again, I would choose me in a sense.
Absolutely remarkable stuff as he calls it quits after just 6 seasons. Still has 3 years left, or had 3 years left on his contract, and essentially is leaving some $76 million on the table, although Jim Irsay alluded to the fact that give him another contract or two, he could be leaving up to $500 million or so. I mean, it's incredible to think what he's doing. But bottom line is this: he has picked his body and his future, certainly with his wife, Nicole, and the young baby that's on the way. He has picked those things over football, and you certainly can't take that away from him whatsoever. But he's been through a lot, right? The torn labrum, the ribs, the kidney, most recently now this calf strain, which has developed into something that's way more serious, obviously. But I remember back at the beginning of training camp, he and I were talking about how happy he seemed about going into camp. And then he dropped this line about how he still has emotional scars from 2017. And I almost laughed at him in this conversation. I thought he was kind of joking about what was going on. And I could tell right away he was serious about this, that emotionally he has dealt with a lot. And now he's up there certainly with the likes of a lot of great players who have retired in their prime. And still, many would say that, he still is very capable of leading this team maybe to a Super Bowl or who knows what. But, of course, you go back, Barry Sanders, Jim Brown, the late, great Gale Sayers. I mean, there were so many players out there that called it quits early, and now it is remarkable as we sit here tonight on a Saturday night after preseason game number 3 that Andrew Luck has decided to retire from the National Football League. Brad Brown is standing by live just outside Lucas Oil Stadium after this preseason game. And Brad, I'm old enough. I remember when Eric Dickerson came to the team back in 1987, and that gave such a boost to this franchise, such energy. This is the complete 180 of all that. This just sucks the life out of this franchise right now.
Dave, it was really interesting, the dynamic of how this all came together here this evening. We're actually down here in the media room underneath Lucas Oil Stadium as this press conference just wrapped up with Frank Reich, Jim Irsay, Chris Ballard, Andrew Luck talked roughly about an hour ago. It was about early in the fourth quarter during what is kind of a blasé performance here this evening. That third preseason game, as you know, kind of going through the motions for everybody. But then all of a sudden, the first tweets came out and the reports came out from ESPN and NFL Network. And
Brad, we'll hope to get back live with Brad Brown here momentarily. But again, what a night. Emotional scars that he talked about a couple of weeks ago, truly coming all the way to the forefront now as he decided to retire after 6 seasons on the field, 7 all told. Remember, he was the top draft pick back in 2012. Let's hear more now from the now retired quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, Andrew Luck.
As I told the guys earlier in the locker room, it's been the honor of a lifetime to represent the Horseshoe and the city of Indianapolis, both on and off the field. To Mr. Irsay and your family, thank you. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to have been drafted here. Your unwavering support is incredibly appreciated. I cannot fathom another owner who loves their team as much as you do. And we feel that as players. We appreciate that as players. It permeates through the building. And from the moment, and we talked about this earlier, but from the moment I arrived in Indianapolis, I felt like I could be myself, and I felt like I did not have to fill Peyton, one of the great, of all times. I felt like I did not have to fill his shoes. I could be me. And for that, and I know that starts with the person up top, and for that, I'm very, very, very much appreciated.
The injuries have taken a toll on him. It's taken any joy, he said, out of the game. He can't put his heart and soul into this anymore. And perhaps a little bit of irony that it has now come full circle of that they take on the Bears with defensive coordinator Chuck Pagano on the other sidelines. And those two had an embrace before the game. And I can't help but think that perhaps Andrew let Chuck know exactly what was going to transpire over the next 24 hours. He was supposed to have a news conference tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Instead, it got leaked to ESPN, and now we sit here tonight. Andrew Luck retiring, remarkably so. And who knows the ripple effect for this franchise. It's going to take a while. I think Jacoby Brissett's a nice quarterback, but he's not Andrew Luck when he's healthy. This will have, I think, ramifications for years to come with this organization. Now, let's go back now to Brad Brown at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Dave, we're back. Here we go. Kind of to touch on what you just mentioned there, Frank Reich said during his part of the press conference right here, they're going to take a couple days to kind of chew on this. So what he talked about with Brissett to kind of digest this, because as far as the offense of this team goes, it's going to be Jacoby Brissett's team come week one. There's no question about that here at this point. But the topics kind of went on and on and on over and over again in this one. And here we are. And just really touching on everything that Andrew talked about going back to 2016, 2017, and having to deal with this long term right here. He had a chance to really thank everybody that he has worked with here in this organization over the course of his 7 seasons. Thanked a lot of players specifically. Thanked everybody from the front office to the back office to the team staff and everybody that really has been a part of his journey here with the organization. Toward the end of the news conference as well, got a little bit emotional as he really got a chance to thank his family, his parents, and of course his wife Nicole, and of course, as Dave mentioned earlier, they've got a newborn on the way soon here before the end of 2019. There's still a lot of big questions that will be asked about this team over the course of the next 2.5 weeks as they get set for their regular season opener. They do have one more preseason game coming up next Thursday at Cincinnati. That takes on an entirely different dynamic now as the lineup of this team has changed with number 12 calling it quits. Andrew Luck retiring tonight from the National Football League at the age of 29. Plenty more from this to come on Sunday for you here on RTV6. We're going to take our first break here on the news at 11, and we will be back to the studio soon to wrap up. Continue here on a Saturday night.
All right, Brad, thank you. We do want to quickly take a look at this timeline. The Colts drafted Luck with the first overall pick of the 2012 NFL Draft as the team decided to move on from Peyton Manning due to questions concerning his health. In a surprise to all, the Colts made the playoffs in Luck's rookie season, eventually losing to the Baltimore Ravens in the first round of the playoffs. The next season in 2013, Luck led one of the biggest comebacks in NFL playoff history. The Colts turned a 28-point deficit to the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round of the playoffs into a triumphant win to advance in the playoffs. The Colts won 45-44. Luck led Indianapolis to the AFC Championship game in 2014. However, the Patriots defeated the Colts. And after missing the 2017 season, Luck helped the Colts return to the playoffs in 2018. The team beat Houston in the first round before falling to Kansas City. And now the news tonight that Andrew Luck is officially retiring. We will be right back after this break.
Just further at Mattress Firm. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Now to our other big story tonight, covering the violence impacting families right here in Indianapolis. The message from local leaders: invest in our community. That is the rallying cry from community leaders on the northeast side after 2 teenagers were murdered inside an Indianapolis apartment. RTV6's Graham Hunter shares the story from a rally for peace with a demand for better support.
Peace in the streets. Peace in the streets. There's a lot of things plaguing our community.
City County Councilwoman Lakeisha Jackson represents District 14 on the far east side of Indianapolis and helped organize a Saturday morning peace rally with memories still fresh of what happened just a day before.
Those 2 young teenagers who were senselessly, callously murdered yesterday, Nicholas and Ashlyn.
16-year-old Nicholas Nilsson and his 15-year-old sister Ashlyn were killed Friday. No arrests have yet been made. Police have released surveillance of the suspect.
Silence now is a problem for for our city. We need to stop being silenced to those who are committing these crimes and think it's okay.
Jackson says it's time for all parties to step up, and she's not the only one with that message.
It takes partnership from everybody who wants to see a difference and a change in the city.
Pastor James Jackson says the East Side needs more than just manpower.
One of the things I think that we're missing is sufficient financial resources to scale up the work that's already being done.
Councilwoman Jackson agrees.
We need help, government, federal, state, local. We need help. Peace in the streets. We need mental health assistance. We need drug addiction assistance.
It calls for a shift in priority.
We need priority as education, priority for crime in our area, priority for inputting resources and funding to redevelop and revitalize our area.
Before fear overwhelms a community.
It's something to live in fear. We should not have to live in fear. We should feel safe to go to the grocery store, to go to events, to go to our kids' school.
Working for you from the Far East Side, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Graham, thank you. A vigil is planned to honor the memories of Ashlyn and Nicholas Nelson Sunday night at 8:30 at the Postbrook Apartments where they were killed. It will be a chance to honor the memories of two young people whose lives were taken prematurely. And we are now learning more tonight about the siblings. Indy Urban Acre says Nicholas was a farmer with their organization. They say he was an incredible person and the community lost a leader. In a Facebook post, the group says he would take younger kids under his wing to teach them about being a farmer. The Community Alliance on the Far East Side says Ashlyn was a very intelligent young lady with a heart for helping others. This summer, she took part in the Teen Employment Program where she helped the elderly. They say she was wise beyond her years and will be truly missed. We talked to an aunt of the teens who says this is not the first tragedy that her family has faced, and they are expecting a long road ahead.
I've dealt with my husband, got killed in 2007, gun violence, and I still think about that daily, so I know it's a long road to recovery. I mean, you never get over it. It's always there. People just need to put the guns down, deal with situations different ways. You don't always have to turn to violence to get through it.
And tonight, police are continuing to search for the person of interest in this case. These are surveillance photos that police have released. Investigators released this photo of a possible suspect that was seen running from the Postbrook apartment complex where the Nelson siblings were killed. If you have any information tonight, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. And just into the newsroom within the last hour, we've learned IMPD has made an arrest in a shooting on the north side that left 2 people dead, including a 3-month-old boy. A 36-year-old woman is facing charges in the double homicide that also left a third person critically injured. It happened near 23rd and Guilford just after 1:30 this afternoon. Police say they found 3 people shot inside a home, including a 37-year-old man and his 3-month-old nephew. Those 2 were pronounced dead by medics. The third person was the mother of the man who was killed, and she was transported to the hospital, and she is now listed in stable condition. Police say the suspect who was arrested is actually the girlfriend of the man who was killed.
Any violence does impact families in our city. We all know that. The only thing I would have to say to them is keep the faith. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourselves. Don't give up on your loved ones. Don't give up on our city. Don't give up on the police. We're out here working hard every day for you. So I would just say keep the faith.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will now review this case and decide what charges will be filed. Today, Johnson County firefighter and Indiana National Guard soldier Andrew Michael St. John, who was killed in a military training accident in Texas, had his last call with the Nineveh Fire Department. Take a listen.
Having heard no response from Nineveh firefighter Andrew St. John, we know that he has answered his final call and God has called him home.
St. John had only been a firefighter with that department for just over a year. The final call went on to say St. John has served his community with honor. The fire department says they appreciate the sacrifices he has made. He will now be a guardian and watch over all other firefighters as they respond to emergencies. A new era in music entertainment officially kicked off tonight in Brown County. Country superstar Vince Gill headlined the grand opening of the new Brown County Music Center in Nashville, Indiana. The facility seats 2,000 people. Our spies on the scene tell us it was a sold-out crowd, and that's not hard to believe when you see how many people lined up early and packed the auditorium. The Music Center is located off of State Road 46, just east of downtown Nashville. Its opening comes 10 years after a fire destroyed the Little Nashville Opry. And a first-of-its-kind event is taking place tonight in Indianapolis at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum. IMPD Mounted Horse Patrol Association hosted Indiana's first-ever indoor polo match. This serves as the unit's single largest fundraiser. No tax dollars come to IMPD's Mounted Horse Patrol, and they purchase all their horses and training for the officers. The event was previously held at Hickory Hall Polo Club in Whitestown.
Well, they're going to build a new facility for themselves, so for their horses to be more comfortable, so we can grow in numbers, to have more protection on the streets during events, etc., things like that. So 100% of these proceeds are going to IMPD, so they can build their facility and keep up their services for us for the city.
Hickory Hall Polo Club says having an event like this in Indianapolis is a great way to get fans involved in polo. Let's now get over to Storm Team 6 meteorologist Kyle Mounds. Kyle, it's been a great weather day.
Yeah, Nicole, we enjoyed a beautiful Saturday here in central Indiana. It's going to be coming pretty close to that as we go into our Sunday. Temperatures right now in the 60s, close to 70 in downtown. It's 65 right now in Bloomington, and by tomorrow morning, middle to upper 50s across much of central Indiana. 58 will be the temperature in Greenwood, 57 for you in Bloomington. As we take you through your Sunday forecast here, we'll start off the day with some sunshine, gradually increasing the cloud cover here as we go through the middle of the day and into the afternoon. Our noontime temperature at 73. We'll get to around 80 degrees tomorrow. We'll still have the low humidity in place and a little bit of an east breeze around 10 miles per hour. Average high this time of year is 84. We'll be a little shy of that in Indy at 80 degrees, 82 for you in Columbus, and upper 70s in Peru. Those rain chances, though, do start to ramp up here as we go overnight and into the day on Monday. So you're going to need that umbrella as we get ready for the work and school week once again. Here's a look at TrueCast. By 6:30 tomorrow evening, you can see the cloud cover that we're going to have in place, but still dry conditions for us. As we get into Monday morning, we start to see more of that rain filling in. Could have a few rumbles of thunder here right now, though it doesn't look like we're going to be dealing with any severe weather on Monday. Just some widespread rain, a few thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon, and that is actually going to carry over into our Tuesday. But by about 11 o'clock on Monday night, many areas looking at between about a half and an inch of rainfall. Certainly get under a couple of those thunderstorms, and you could see a little more than that. Now, the rain on Monday is going to hold those temperatures back once again. We'll be in the upper 60s at 9 a.m. We'll get into the lower 70s, though, as we head into the afternoon. 7-day planning forecast for you as we put it all together, and there's that chance for showers and thunderstorms on Monday. About a 30% chance for some of that rain carrying over into our Tuesday. After that, things dry out for a few days, and we're going to have those temperatures pretty comfortable here. We're either in the middle 70s or the lower 80s for those afternoon highs. We'll be into the middle 70s and a chance for a few showers and storms as we get into next Saturday.
It's just so pleasant when you walk outside right now.
It's nice to not have that humidity for sure, and that's something that's pretty rare for this time of year and August, so we will certainly take it while we can get it, and unofficially winding down summer here as we go into next week.
Oh my gosh, fall's on the way.
Fall, that's right.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. We'll be right back after this break.
Ashley Home Store. This is home.
In conclusion, my folks who aren't here tonight, but Mom, Dad, Mayor, Emily, Ed, Uncle Will, all my friends, thank you. And my wife, Nicole, thank you. I love you. And I guess in a philosophical sense, I want to thank football for so many wonderful moments in my life and the pressure, circumstances, environment that pushed me to grow, learn, change in so many meaningful ways. It's the greatest team sport in the world.
That was quarterback Andrew Luck making it official. He is retiring from the NFL at the age of 29. The news first broke as the Colts were playing the Bears in preseason action at Lucas Oil Stadium earlier tonight. We talked to fans as they left the game, which was quickly overshadowed by the news about Luck.
It's hard to replace Andrew Luck.
I've always been a Luck fan, so I mean, I'm just really disappointed that he's leaving us so early. He's been with us. We had Manning a few years ago, and then he came. I had some hope, but now he's gone.
Definitely hard to see, and we will miss Andrew Luck, but we will have a final check of your forecast right after this break.
Oh my God, that drop! I thought I was going to lose my. I didn't know. It was freaking amazing.
Oh, yeah. Take a look at this. Brent Marty, the director of music and education at Booth Tarkington Civic Theater, jumped out of a plane to raise money for youth arts education. He raised $2,000. Marty is absolutely terrified of heights, which is why the theme of this fundraising effort was, how much will you pay to see Brent Marty skydive? And it went for a very high price. I don't know, Kyle, if I could have done that.
No, I couldn't. I'm terrified of heights and more terrified of not having anything underneath me. But way to go for him and the Civic Department. So round of applause.
Good job,
Great
buddy.
day for some flying. Tomorrow, yeah, if he loved it that much and wants to do it again, he can. We've got temperatures around 80 for that afternoon high, and then showers and storms fairly widespread here as we start off the week.
All right, Kyle, thank you. And thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow at 6.